my friend. I am just checking in to give you my 18-month update, gastric sleeve surgery. And I'm hiding a little secret. Compressions from my first loose skin surgery. So far to date, in 18 months, I have lost 58.3 kilos, 128.5 pounds, or 9.18 stone. So that's a whole person. That's quite astounding to me, considering I went into this, I suppose, like many weight loss surgery people, thinking that it's not going to work for me because I already didn't eat anything because of my thyroid disease. If you're one of those thyroid people that don't eat much, that wonder why you've got weight on and you didn't eat much, it turned out to be the lipedema. But that was why I went in thinking, not sure this is going to work for me. But I also went in thinking, well, what have I got to lose? Because I already didn't eat much. But it was still a concern that I wouldn't have success with it because I had literally done everything else, including 4 years of college to become a naturopath and a clinical nutritionist. So when I say I did everything, I did everything. Right? I am now a size Australian 8 to 10 in most clothes. We all know sizes vary ridiculously. Generally, I can pick up an extra small, an 8 to 10, depending on the item, which I think in American sizes is like a 4 to 6. Where I'm at clothing wise. Blood tests. I have swapped to a doctor who specializes in cholesterol because after weight loss surgery, apparently there's a subset of people who has high LDL cholesterol afterwards. I'm one of those people. It also is likely because I have pretty much now settled on a carnivore-ish diet. I say ish because it's just, for the most part, if I eat like that 85%, 90% of the time, I feel great. I just got back from Perth from my first skin surgery, and I ate carbs while I was down there because you're in the hospital, you're doing things you don't normally do. And when I go on holidays, I don't stress about what I eat. I found that it just made me hungry. When you eat carbs, it makes you hungry, and that's not ideal in anybody's terms. And I didn't know this until I started eating a carnivore diet. But with the carnivore diet, that's a whole nother video. In fact, I've done videos on that, so you can check it all out and find those. That is also another reason my LDL cholesterol has increased. I'm not worried about that. I went to a doctor in Perth when I was there last year who specializes in cholesterol and low carb diets and that sort of thing. He explained to me it's your triglycerides you need to watch. It's your triglycerides that puts down the plaque. And I know I have read lots of studies in my research. I think 50% of people that have had heart attacks had low LDL cholesterol. So when he explained to me that it's not the LDL cholesterol that puts down the plaque, it's the triglycerides. And what contributes to triglycerides is processed foods and carbs. That made perfect sense. I am not a doctor. Yes, I'm a clinical nutritionist, but this journey is about me and what I'm following to have the best outcome for me. You do your research, but if that ticks a box in your head or makes sense to you in any way, go and find a doctor who specializes in the latest cutting research in cholesterol. So yes, I have higher LDL cholesterol. However, my triglycerides are extremely low because I don't eat processed food for the most part. As I said, 85%, something like that is where I kind of sit. And for an everyday, I tend to eat meat at most. If I'm away, yes, the carbs come back in. That's life, right? That's balance to me. But having said that, it's really, really easy to go back to eating meat when I'm like, oh, that's enough. Pull your head in. Oh, the other thing about my blood tests is that I am now insulin sensitive, not insulin resistant anymore. And I know that again by seeing a doctor who specializes in this field. That means when I do eat sugar, when I do eat carbs, as long as I haven't gone crazy, my body knows what to do with it. My insulin is not resistant to it like most people are, and like I was prior to surgery. I weigh myself every day. Yes, a lot of people will be triggered by that. I got myself a set of scales. It's called Eufy, E-U-F-Y was the brand. It was kind of just, I only settled on that brand because it was a mid-range price. That was it. It was no other reason. Every other set of scales were in the hundreds of dollars, and this was on special for $79 or something Australian. So this tells you your water, your protein, your subcutaneous fat, your visceral fat. It tells you lots of things. For example, did you know for every gram of carbohydrate you eat, you will retain 4 grams of water to, I don't know, balance it out in your body. Or when I got back from Perth after 2 weeks, knowing that I'd eaten carbs, yes, every day, almost every day, I knew my weight will have gone up, but I was able to track via the other things. Was it only water that went up, or was it subcutaneous fat? Was it protein that was dropped? Like, I could see what was going on, so that it's not a mind game that, oh, how terrible was I ate carbs while I was away. I didn't have the surgery for that reason. I had put on 2 kilos. Within 2 days of being home, I had lost that 2 kilos. It was pretty much water weight that I had put on from the carbs. That is why I weigh myself every day. Purely data. No other reason. If you're watching this, likely you're either a friend, in which case, hi, thanks, or you need to thank yourself for the fact that weight is a direct response to the types of food you're eating that are either good or bad for your body, and that you are working on your health. Even though you think you're working on your weight, you're working on your health. I remember the day after my VSG surgery, my surgeon came in to see how I was doing, and he said, I just read a really interesting study, and he said, you'll be interested to know that after VSG surgery, it cuts your risk of all cancers by 50%. That's insane. So when you're worried about, oh, your diet, your weight, it's not that. You're actually thinking about your health. Because I tell you what, now that I can walk for miles without blinking, run around a squash court, walk upstairs without going, oh, is there another way around? I don't want my life to end at 60 or 70. I want my life to end at 100. I am looking at the health aspects of this, not the weight aspects. In the beginning, it was the weight, absolutely, because I was gobsmacked that I was losing weight for the first time in 30 years. But now, with all the inner work I've done, I'm now in that space of how can I live this life to my fullest? I encourage you to think the same way about using scales and about sticking to a diet. And I don't even like the word diet, but a lifestyle that cuts out the crap and that's going to give you longevity is kind of what I'm trying to say. I fully understand now what being on the bones of your ass means. I didn't before. I knew it was like that you've got no weight on your backside, and it is actually really, really uncomfortable sitting on your bones. If you've gotten to that point and understand that, you're my people, because I've had days I'm sitting on a nice, comfy, cushy couch where I'll have been sitting there for half an hour and I suddenly go, and it's painful. Wow, I had no idea. I finally got my wedding ring back after nearly a year. About a year ago, when I first started losing the weight, I think I'd lost about 30 kilos at that point, I realized 2 of my rings that are soldered together was missing. I went to get in the shower and it wasn't on my hand, and I freaked out and looked all over the house. My husband and I were looking everywhere, couldn't find it. I knew it was loose on me, but I was like, no, it's fine. Found the ring, caught in where I'd shoved something in my drawer being lazy, shut the drawer, pulled my hand out, and so this ring was sitting in that little, I was like, oh my goodness. So from that day onwards, I stopped wearing my wedding rings. If you are new in your journey, I highly recommend that you take your precious wedding rings off in case you lose them. Okay, my clothing tastes have changed and I'm learning to dress my new body. So I thought that when I lost all this weight that I'd go for all boho, girly, lacy, flowy dress things. Couldn't be further from the truth. I kind of live in linen shirts. I live in a very hot environment. Having said that, I kind of live in linen shirts and jeans right now. I want to see, when I look in the mirror, wow, look how far you've come. Because of that, all the girly, flowy, boho, lacy, white stuff doesn't show my figure. So I don't buy it. I don't look for it. That has been a really interesting occurrence with the clothes. I don't know what I like yet. And because I've just had my arms done, I was wearing all shirts that were to the elbows, and I will continue because I'm wearing compressions down to my elbows for 6 weeks. So I will continue to wear these shirts, but I wore big billowy shirts to cover my lipedema arm. Now I bought some t-shirts while I was in Perth that are like here. And it was such a strange feeling looking around the shops because I caught my mind looking at shirts and automatically dismissing them because, oh, they've got short sleeves or they've got no sleeves. And then I was like, oh, hang on a sec. No, I can do that now. And I had to try it on. So it was a really interesting. So I'm going to have to do a lot of inner work and kinesiology and balancing that I can wear short sleeves now. But if you don't work on that side of things, you will never enjoy the outcome of your surgery, the outcome of anything you do. I can promise you that. I want to enjoy my new body as it emerges. And what's even more interesting is that I've got photos from 21 years of age wearing a sleeveless top, having very similar arms to what I have now since surgery, minus the big scar underneath. And I didn't think I had nice arms. Really fascinating. So it was a mindset thing that I had terrible arms right from the get-go, because I've had lipedema all my life. Just didn't know what it was. The weight loss tools that I live by, I say rules, but it's all about balance. Protein first, that's my kind of rule. No oils. That's from a thyroid perspective, a lipedema perspective, a health perspective. If there's one thing that all protocols seem to agree on now, whether it's vegan or carnivore, is lose the seed oils. And from a thyroid perspective, it hampers your thyroid pathway. Lose the oil. I cook in lard. Yes, I do. Bacon fat or duck fat or something like that. Your body knows what to do with that. It has no idea what to do with the rancid oils that we pour all over everything that's in our herbs, spices. Every processed food known to man has got oils in it. So that is like a hard and fast rule. If I can help it, if I'm going out to dinner, I am not going out to the kitchen to demand that they use lard on my food. That is not happening. It's the 80-20 rule in just about of everything, 80% of the time I know what I'm doing, 20% of the time, because I know what I'm doing 80% of the time, my body knows how to deal with that 20% of the time. So that's what I live by. You live by you, but that's what I'm living by, and it's working so far. So protein first, no oils. I don't have coffee till after I've had protein. I've seen lots of videos now across the board, depending, all different genres of food intake and what they all say about coffee. Because I'm pretty stable on the scales, funnily enough, when I was big, the scales could go up or down 2 kilos in a day with water. And it's because of the insulin sensitivity. It's because everything's stabilized, the inflammation's down. My weight kind of stays level. So if it goes up or down, I can go, what did I eat yesterday? What changed this? And I use it as a testing ground because it's data. It's not a set of scales telling me my self-worth anymore. It is data. When I have real coffee, and I only tested this literally the beginning of this year, 2024, so a few months ago. And when I have real coffee, caffeinated coffee, my weight goes up slightly. I'm talking 50 grams, 100 grams. When I have decaf, it doesn't. It stays the same. Whether that's everybody's body, whether that's my body, who knows? This is why I'm sharing it, because you've got to be your own experiment. So I'm my own experiment. So I use those scales and I go, oh, when I have caffeinated coffee, my weight goes up. Not by much. And would it matter? No, probably not. And it stayed there. It went up, but it stayed there. It didn't keep going up. But I was watching videos where coffee after protein, that didn't happen, and it didn't. So I now most days will still have decaf, but if I'm in Perth, if I'm away, if I'm overseas, or if I feel like I need caffeine, I'll have it. I just try to make sure I don't have it till after I've had meat of some kind or protein of some kind. And that kind of works for me. And the reason, in case you haven't watched the carnivore videos that I've done, the whole reason I do that now, as you know, we can eat like this much food at a time. If I'm having an eye fillet steak that is delicious, that is going to give me more nutrients and bang for my buck than this much salad. And you say, oh, but I can eat more carbs than that. Yes, you can. They're called slider foods. And I can eat a whole ham and cheese croissant, an entire one. Should I? No. Can I? Yes. But if I'm eating something decent and solid and dense, like an eye fillet steak, I can eat this much. It keeps me full till the next meal. I'm not looking for other food. Ham and cheese croissant, within a couple of hours, I am hungry again. Just saying. That's just me. Coffee enemas. If you've watched any of my earlier thyroid videos, if you have followed me for any length of time, you'll know that I learned about coffee enemas in naturopathic college. I swear by them for liver health. That is what I use them for, to keep my liver healthy. And as a side benefit, since weight loss surgery, as a lot of people will know, and this is an issue for thyroid people often, it wasn't an issue for me. However, constipation. Coffee enemas is for the liver. That's why you use coffee, not water. But the side effect is going to be clearing out the colon, so you won't get constipated. While I do the coffees to help my liver, that is a side effect. I know I poop every day when I have my enema, and my body and my digestive system are working as they should do. So that's a non-negotiable. I only ever do one a day in the morning. However, in the lead up to the skin removal surgery, I did 2 a day to get my liver ultra clean, ready for the onslaught of the anesthetic and the painkillers that I knew that I was going to be taking, that my liver was going to have to process. I am still doing them twice a day until I go back to work in another week or so. And then I'll go back to my 1 a day. And that is just literally to help my liver clean out the chemicals and the painkillers and the toxins and all the things that I've had. I've talked about the coffee enemas in many, many videos now and on Thyroid School over the years. But just to confirm with you, when I had a hysterectomy in 2015, as soon as I was able to get down on the floor and get myself back up again, if you've had a hysterectomy, you'll know what I'm talking about, I finally did a coffee enema. Back then, I was doing them not every day, maybe sporadically, but a few times a week at least. Anyway, I did the enema in a sort of we had an open ensuite, but the toilet was a closed door toilet. When I released the liquid, the entire toilet smelled like the operating theatre. It was then that I understood the value of a coffee enema, particularly when you have a surgery, because it helps your body to get rid of all of that. So you know that smell when you get wheeled into an operating theatre, that horrible smell? That is what the toilet smelled like. I kid you not. And that was when I went, oh, yeah, right. Okay, gotcha. I will keep doing these. They have been a firm tool in my toolkit ever since and will continue to be. They've proven to be very valuable after weight loss surgery because of the fact that I never get constipated. It also has helped me during this process to deal with the toxic load of losing weight. This is not something many people talk about, but I have seen many, many stories and videos on people who have lost a lot of weight, women, and have ended up with breast cancer or some kind of other disease. I believe, this is just my thoughts, and from what I've seen through studies and things like that, when you release 30 years of weight, that's not just weight, that's toxins, chemicals, sugars, heavy metals, all those things are in our fat cells. So you're releasing that gradually every day into your bloodstream. If your liver isn't top notch and knows how to deal with that stuff, it's going to recycle back through your body time and time again until your body goes, oh, I don't know what to do with this. Okay, let's form a tumor here, or let's pop it into a little garbage bag and put that there. The reason I continue is because you just have to go outside and breathe now to breathe in chemicals and toxins. I live in a mining town. It's going to have an effect if your liver is not functioning to its absolute best. That's why I personally do it. Honestly, that's what this is all about. How do I get myself feeling the best, navigating life the best, living my dreams the best? You can take or leave whatever you need, get the advice you need. Don't take my word for it. This is just my story. But if it inspires you to do something that's just a little bit out of the ordinary, like a coffee enema for your health, great. Do the research. When I first started doing coffee enemas, my liver had gone into the danger zone. I wasn't a drinker. However, I was that person that would have half a glass and it was like I'd been drinking all night. That is a liver problem if you have that issue going on, and that's what I had going on. So when my ALT, that's the score on your lipid panel that tells you if you're going into cirrhosis or not, or you're having trouble, I went 1 over, and that was what made me try the coffee enemas. A year later, the 31, because 30 was the mark at the time, it went 31. A year later, I was at 20. Coffee enemas, I'm here to tell you, were in the Merck's medical dictionary until the 1980s. It's no longer there. Why? It's all about fear. If you're a thyroid person, thyroid people, the emotion that we run off is fears of everything. Fear of speaking our truth, which is why it's situated in the throat. Fear of doing the wrong thing. Fear of not being there for somebody else. Fear of not being able to fix something. So many fears. If you're a fear person, you're my person, full of fears. Okay, not so much now, but I'm doing a lot of work from all angles. I didn't just have weight loss surgery. I don't just do coffee enemas for my liver. I don't just do balancing for my mind and for my mental mental health. I do all the things, and that's why I'm making gains. That's why I'm improving, and I will continue to share all these things. That's why I changed it from Thyroid School to my own name, so that I can share with you all the things that I do. Because even if I just help one of you to change your thought processes around feeling better and healing, I'm a happy camper. So that is my 18-month update. Videos will resume. I was watching one of my favorite VSG YouTubers, Gina VSG. I will put her in the link below. And she was saying, she said very often on her channel, why are you even watching? There's nothing to share with you. And I actually stopped doing videos for the same reason. She's got PCOS, so she's constantly working on different things. But I felt like, I've got nothing to share with you because my life had kind of stabilized, and therefore you would find it boring. But I realized, yes, my weight has stabilized, but I'm still trying to reverse my thyroid disease. I will always have lipedema. So what can I do about that? And there's all the other things. How do I, at the age of 50 plus, move overseas? That's what we're working towards. How does all my health stuff impact that dream? I wanted to be able to include all of it and be an open slate, if for no other reason that I can look back in years to come and go, I don't remember that. I now find myself doing things more for me than for everybody else, and sharing my journey is for me. And if it helps you, awesome.